My name's Rod from Tech. I want to show you one of the things that you can do with AI today. Now, I use AI to build a website generator because there's a lot of talk about AI is going to be replacing search engine optimization. I wanted my website to be able to still answer people's questions and be found in a world that 60% or more of searches aren't going to click-throughs anymore, which requires a complete redesign of it, and that can be a lot of labor time. However, I want to show a practical way. So this entire site was made with AI. I don't know how to do any of the coding, but you'll see it's pretty cool. We're launching a new branch called Get IT for CPAs. So I want to use this tool to build it. I type it here, I click Analyze. Now this one doesn't have an site to analyze because it hasn't been done, but if it did, it would run through your entire site. Then it'd take you over here to a blueprint page. And this blueprint goes and identifies your type of customer, what's their mindset, and then writes the content for it based off that particular customer. So if I'm a computer tech, I might be very analytical, whereas if I'm in a more sales organization, I might want short phrases, and it helps you get into the mindset of the customer that you're trying to reach. So you click Generate, and it will go through and run through all the data and build you a complete site breakdown. Now this will take a little while, and I'm going to end up fast forwarding this, but I have a little timer in here so you can see how long this is taken on each one of these steps. So step one is it just looks at my SEO and data that I have. If I had data that was for this particular site, that's where it would go. In this instance, it's identifying what is the type of site that this should be. So it's creating my step two, my customer psychology profile analysis. This looks at the type of customers I might service with this and then gets a client profile for that. Next, we work on our universal experience framework. And that converts that psychology into messaging. So if I'm highlighting CPAs, something they're very concerned about is compliance and protection for their clients. So I want to have a lot of protection text inside there. How are we protecting them? How are we securing their clients? How can we be a partner to them in securing their clients? Next, it goes through the page definition. And this will work with any brand. I've been testing it with a number of my clients just to see how it works. And it does a really good job, whether or not you're a print company, fabrication, sandblasting, an IT company like we are, or any of the type of clients. It does a really good job if you're using the right model and the right prompts to get in the mind of your prospective buyer. As a page definitions, it's going to go through and create a psychological profile for each page that you want. So if you're on the About Us section, you might want a different profile than if you were on the home page, or if you're on a service. If you're looking at, for Tech, if you're looking at data backup, what are the things that our primary customer would want? And for us, we're looking for primarily businesses between 20 and 200 computers that have either one or less internal IT, that are looking at an IT partner that can help them either be their entire internal IT or parts of their internal IT team. So each of those, if we're looking at our commit page, which is our pages that would be tied to those looking at they have an internal IT, well, there we want to talk about how we work well with those and give some examples of other internal IT that we work with, where we might take on the servers and the internal on-site person's handling all the desktops, or we might want to handle the desktops for them and they like working with the servers, or some type of mix or match of that particular category. Each of those pages will get set up for that purpose. This is a little bit of a geeky one, the QA and LLMO lint validation, and that is more or less just doing a validation that the text above actually meets what we're looking for. So it acts as a QA manager. And each one of these steps is, when you hear the word agentic, they're basically different agents that are doing different purposes. And you do that by telling the AI role play as this particular person. So now I have the entire site done. I'm going to go put the timer to the side for a second. Here, these are the key services that it thinks that we should offer. So we have managed services, which are good, IT consulting, 24/7 help desk, network monitoring, consulting, backup. Great services. Slug, This is the prompt that I use to actually generate all of these. So this is the 33 pages that it thinks this particular site should have. So we have our contact one, right? Get here, fast, transparent, nice support with no hidden questions. And these are the texts that it's creating specific for the type of customer that I might be looking for. So for industry, construction, manufacturing, financial. Now, in this particular website, because it is specifically for IT, I might not like that. So I can go and just delete that if I want to. In fact, I'm going to. I don't want it to generate those. So now we're down to 25 location. I could go ahead and I would go and customize this to add all of our locations in here, our Eau Claire branch, our Fort Myers branch. And then these are the services that are specific for IT that are servicing CPAs. You know, passing audits, very, very important to a CPA, depending on what type of clientele that they're servicing. So that looks really good. I like and something else it does is it identifies what is the keywords that we should be targeting for this. Managed IT services, IT consulting. And if I wasn't doing this in a live demo, I might go back and show some of these as saying, hey, I want these very targeted to CPAs. This did a very blind attempt at it, and it did a decent job for just knowing that this is the website, and that's all I gave it. So let's go over to our page generation. Oh, I'll bring this over here just a little bit. So next, and this I'll turn our timer back on for this. Here it'll generate all the content for each one of these pages, and it generates an AI image. For the demo, I'm using an extremely low-cost AI image generator. If I get this to production, or if I was doing a production run, I would increase it to a better AI model. It's just a cost from each one of these images cost me a fraction of a penny, whereas a good AI model would cost me about 15 cents per image, maybe 10 cents per image. And I can just put them in there if I want to manually, or the AI can do a really good job of it. I just don't want to pay $1 every time I've been testing this. So I go and generate all. And I could put a content in here, custom instructions. I'm not going to. I'm just going to go ahead and click that. And there we go. This will regenerate all these pages. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit so you can see them all. And you'll see them bloop, 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 bloop all the way in here as we're generating more and more content. Alright, there we go. We got that all completed. It generates about 3 pages a minute, or one every 20 seconds, which for computers is pretty slow, but for content and content writers is pretty very quick. So now we're going to generate an image. So while this was generating, after it got the image or after this got done generating all the content, it created a prompt that it will use to generate the image. So the image will be specific to the content that's inside there. So same thing. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward this. There we go. After about 8 minutes, all the images have been generated here. So now I'm going to go over here. I'm going to regenerate all. And this is going to create the actual HTML of the site. So this is doing all the building. At this point, we've done our SEO work. We've done our content writing. We understand the type of client that we're supposed to write this to. What are the things that they're concerned with. And we're just stitching all that together to make the actual site. And this is always an exciting part for me, because I find out, did the site actually work? And I can actually run an SEO score. And right now I'm getting about a 90 on these scores, which isn't bad. There are things that we can do to improve that, and that'll be some of the tweaks I do with the program as a whole, now that I got the raw of it up. But what's important to realize about this tool is that it was entirely built with AI. So every aspect of this, from the design, I have it project plan it, it's just asking the prompts to the AI in the way that you're looking at having it. So let's do the big reveal. So this is the website that was created. It has an About Us page, has our services. So one artifact I see already is I have this free download guide, but it has white text similar to that. So I'll have to go fix that. I can see this information here looks good. So as a first draft, as I go to these different pages, manage services, it creates images in the background. I have the things that people are interested in, like the 24/7 monitoring, security, help desk support. They can get a hold of us, they can see knowledge. And every piece of text on this page was all written by the AI. Now, case studies, it likely made up some case studies. I'll have to go back to this and change that. But by and large, this is a pretty decent site off it as a first shot. As I develop this tool more, it will become better and better. But an important part for everyone watching this to realize is that the type of questions we ask our AI are often determine what it can actually do. An example I give when I'm speaking is if you asked an elementary student and Albert Einstein what 2 plus 2 was, they would give you the same answer and you would imply they have the same level of intelligence. You have to ask it questions or ask it to do things at a level that would impress you, and then you can go ahead and see different ways of using it. Yeah, hope you found some value in this video, and we have a monthly workshop that anyone wants to learn how to use AI or what some of its more advanced capabilities are. Love to have you.